Hey everyone, Cooling on Manga here right now, reviewing Hunter x Hunter episode 80. Okay. Unfortunately, last week I wasn't able to review the episode. I did like it. We got to see a lot of the individuality of each of the ants. How they are slowly becoming human, or at least, gaining more and more human traits as they go along. So I did like that. This week's episode, however, I really liked. The first half of the episode, it dealt with the backstory to the ruler of, or the king of NGL, which will have a part to play later on in the story. Because, again, Gyro is the king of this country. So we get to see the first part, the backstory of Gyro, and it's kind of a story that we've seen many times in anime and manga. With the growing up and having a father, or growing up in poverty and having a father figure who really just doesn't care for you at all, drinks all the time, and basically uses you for work. I mean, we've seen this before, but it was okay. It was good. The scenes that actually led to it, the way it was all black and white and whatnot, I liked that it fit. It fit, so that was a good for sure. But the main part of this episode, the real interesting part of this episode, came right after the Gyro backstory. Of course, we see a bloody room where apparently Gyro was sitting. We see his chair all covered in blood, and I believe it's Zazen, who's at I think it's, I don't know, I can't remember this guy's name, but he's in the cave where the DA, or the Da, was being manufactured and the guns were coming from, and one of his soldiers asks why he gave Colt the humans that were here so easily. And he said he just didn't feel like fighting, and that this area here was now his kingdom, his stronghold. So that was cool. But we move on to Ponzu's team of 4, of course, and they're witnessing more and more human beings being abducted, more slaughters. They're seeing just what the ants are capable of. And while they're doing this, we go back to the Chimera Ant Cave, and this is what I really liked about the episode. This part here, because it shows that the ants really do learn exceptionally fast, and Colt, who right now is one of the greatest strategists of the Chimera Ant army, has said that if a human can do it, then we have the ability. We just don't have the knowledge. So that was cool, and it's going to lead to more things, especially at the end of this episode where Ponzu was captured. It's going to lead to more development on the whole of the ants front, because the ants are gonna develop very fast, and the newer ants especially. So that was good. We also get to see Colt starting to remember parts of his past life without him even realizing it. When he states that he's going to protect the queen, he accidentally, he says Rena, and the penguin's like, yo, you just said arena. He's like, what? No, I didn't say that. What are you talking about? So we see that Colt's, he is gaining part of his old self back. We move back to, of course, Ponzu's team, and they are now being assaulted. Well, actually, before they end up being assaulted by Chimera ants, they are talking, and they're basically stating, all the hunters in the area are dead due to the fact that no one's gotten the messages that the bee girl was, sending out, and these Chimera ants are literally to a point where the whole world needs to find out about these in order for the Hunter Association to come in and just straight wipe them out. So that they're up there on danger level. And just as they're about to flee, of course, and then this was slick. This was brutal as hell. It was slick as shit. I gotta say, the way the Chimera ants just took care of business in this episode, oh my god. It was brutal. It was slick. It was great. I loved it. So all we see is, bam, out of nowhere, right in mid-sentence, this blue, beetle bug just jumps out, decapitates this white-haired guy, and his head's still moving, and he's like, yo, they're here! He doesn't even realize that his head is cut off because it happens so fast. And that just further emphasizes the strength or the physical ability of the ants. They are very fast, very strong, and swift as shit. And it was beautiful. Then we see this spider human ant running up the cliff, and he ends up starting to attack Ponzu's group as well. And he is able to actually see the rainbow arrows that Ponzu is shooting. So this is another thing. The ants are clearly able to use Nen at a surprisingly decent rate. They're able to keep the Nen flowing through their body and allow their eyes to see Nen objects without even the knowledge of this aura. And they actually learned pretty quickly, because once the spider Chimera ant notices that these arrows are coming from Ponzu's aura, his life energy, he says that he realizes that only the stronger Chimera ants would be able to see it, because they're the ones that are more like humans. So the stronger ants, the ants that have more human traits, they have very strong Nen. Okay? They're just not fully aware of it. And it's gonna be very nice to see how the ants grow now that they have captured a human with strong Nen in Ponzu. Because, the spider ant just went ham. First, just, bites off the head of this, just that random Bedell? I don't know what his name was. Anyways, that other guy that was with Ponzu and the bee girl just, grabs him, bites it. Well, he uses his spider web to grab him, just rips his head off one bite. He's like, oops, I bit him, and just as, Ponzu was about to strike back, and he does start dealing some damage because this spider is kind of slow, and he doesn't realize to drop the things that are in his hands, so Ponzu starts, he starts to counterattack, but unfortunately, the scorpion chick was right behind him, and she stabbed him with her stinger, and of course, he fell unconscious. The bee girl ran away and tried to get this message out to a hunter with a strong aura. And of course, as she's trying to run for the border, she ends up getting killed by an ant shown earlier in the episode wielding a gun. And this ant is straight up psychotic. Wielding a gun, just completely dominating humans. Completely dominating them. And at the end here, just feasts on the bee girl's body. So it was pretty brutal, this episode. At the end of the episode, though, Gon, Kahlua, and Kite's group, they end up receiving the message. The bee finds them and informs them that there is a chimera ant nest and tells them the location, as well as the fact that they should send the Hunter Association. So, this is where Kite makes a decision. He tells the two other hunters that were with him, or the amateur hunters that were with him, to go back to the border and to inform the Hunter Association. And then he asks Gon and Kahlua if they're up for the challenge. They say yes, of course. And then he says, this is going to be very dangerous. If you can't keep up, I'm going to leave you behind. And out of nowhere, these guys just fucking bolt. They just bolt. And when I mean bolt, I'm talking some Jedi Force running. Like, oh man. You think Naruto, like ninjas, they're fast jumping through trees? No. Gon, Kahlua, and Kite, man. Force running, just like a bunch of beasts. Damn. That was nice. The end of the episode was nice. So the situation has finally deteriorated to a point where it's in complete chaos, and Gon, Kahlua, and Kite are going in. Next episode, we're finally going to get to see Gon and Kahlua take on some of the ants. And from here on out, this arc gets intense, and even more intense. And it really is the greatest arc in Hunter x Hunter. And I really just can't wait to see the rest of it animated. So this episode, the brutality, the slickness, the white background, the white animation in or the black and white animation in the beginning of the episode with Gyro, it was good. The ants facing off against Ponzu and then capturing him, good. That was definitely good. And of course, the Force running with Kato, Kahlua, and Gon. Anytime I see someone sprint a mile in a second, that's pretty beast. So this episode, it's a very good episode. I was loving it. I gotta say, really psyched for next week's episode. And as I said, the ants are gonna continue to make the episodes from here on out. I mean, last week we had an ant that spit water, that spit water and was able to kill people by spitting water in the koala ant. Now we have a spider ant and this this crazy ant wielding a gun, as well as the girl scorpion. They're getting some showtime. They made the episode, really. I mean, they're pretty cool. Colt, he was pretty good in the episode, so I'm loving the ants. I always love the ants. I love the ants in the manga. I love the ants here. What can I say? It was a shaky start for Madhouse to this arc, but they've picked the slack. They've picked up the slack, and they are going hard. They are going hard, and it is awesome. Anyways, cool on manga here. Rate, comment, subscribe. Peace.